This is all just going right over my head.
Yeah, sorry.
We Bear Bears is a show with a strange title.
We Bear Bears are stackable.
We Bear Bears is a very interesting idea.
We Bear Bears follows the exploits of three bears.
Ooh. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast, the podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to.
But you still can.
And you should. All right, everybody. Today we are doing, of course, We Bear Bears. It is a Cartoon Network animated show or cartoon. And Falling Tower this month is doing comedy/cartoon. So if you have a comedy or cartoon or a comedic cartoon, put it in the comments below and we will review it. Maybe. I mean, whatever. We'll see.
It could happen.
It's an asterisk on the end of that.
It has happened in the past. All right. So, of course, we have a very special guest. She's a meteorologist. She's a 3-time Emmy nominee. But how many has she won? She's a 1-time Emmy winner. Meteorologist Katie.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back.
You can call her Meteorologist Kitten, too, because she has a kitten right now that she's very fond of.
Who I'm sure is screaming her head off.
Gross. Darth Schuhe is also here. He is the guy who cannot decide if he likes Han Solo or Indiana Jones better. It's Darth Schuhe.
Ooh, that's a hard question, too.
It's a tough one.
He dresses more like Indiana Jones. So I'm going to say Indiana Jones.
Probably. More dynamic of a character, probably.
Main character energy.
Dr. Muhammad Noor hates both those characters, but he is an occasional Star Trek science advisor. He's an evolutionary biologist and vice provost of academic affairs, or 2 academic affairs at Duke University.
Academic affairs.
Dr. Muhammad Noor.
Always a pleasure to be on Falling Towers. Watch the first of things.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and I am a big He-Man fan, making me the perfect guy to review We Bear Bears.
Animated too.
All right. And everybody at home, if you'd like us to review the show, as I said in the comments below, let us know. Also, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you click the share button and send it to all of your pals. If you're listening in, give it a 5-star rating and a review on the podcast fora media. And please give this video a like. That's enough. Let's get to it. Where do we go, Muhammad?
We're in a predicament where we each have to predict what we thought of this show after seeing it.
Okay, interesting. It's my favorite part. I love making predictions. Then I feel really judgy, and that makes me feel good. Because Darth and I have known each other since the Nixon administration, basically.
Wow.
Just 1 year in. Just 1 year in.
Yeah, right. Am I right?
My word.
Right. Yeah. That was our secret handshake when we were in middle school, because that was
definitely evolved a lot over the years.
I don't know. Katie and I have known each other since the Kennedy era.
Wow. They named a space center after your friendship. All right. So anyway, we all know each other fairly well. Let's make some predictions. Muhammad, I predict that you liked this show. I predict that you found it charming and or silly. Katie, I predict that you are going to be sub-warm on this. You are going to be like, if you were a customer at a steakhouse, you would have them send the steak back and give you a real steak. Darth Schuhe, I think that you watched this. Honestly, I think that you almost fell asleep watching this, because you fall asleep watching a lot of things. And I feel like this 11-minute show maybe was too long for you still. So I think that you're going to be, I think you're going to be low on this as well. What do you think, Mohammed?
So I'm going to predict that Ryan's predictions for Katie and Darth reflect what he thought of the show. And then Ryan was not a fan. And Ryan's like, what is this? Why are we watching this show? In contrast, I'm going to predict that I think actually both Katie and Darth, I think they're both going to like it. I think they're actually going to be fairly positive.
Interesting.
That's my prediction.
See, I think you're onto something, Mohammed. I think Ryan's probably a little like south lukewarm, a little bit, maybe just a little bit lower than that. I think you probably enjoyed the fun, charming nature of it. So you're like, oh yeah, this is a solid 7, 8-ish. And then Darth, I think it could go either way, falling asleep or actually enjoying it. I think you might enjoy the comedy, though. So I'm going to go, well, you're a little bit higher up than Ryan, but not quite as high up as Mohammed's.
Yeah, Darth's pretty high. What do you think, Darth?
I'm going to say Ryan's. I feel like the basketball element might have grabbed him, but I don't think it was enough of a basketball element to really grab him. I don't think the comedy really grabbed him. And Muhammad, this is a really tough for me to. I feel like I can kind of gauge more or less kind of what stuff he's going to gravitate towards or not. But this one, man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I could give him a read on him either way. Ooh. And Katie, I think maybe the cuteness factor, because there's definitely a cuteness factor. I feel like that might, with a new kitten and everything too, might bump her up a little bit. So that's where I feel like everybody lands on this one.
She has the kitten. The show doesn't.
Yeah.
Just for everybody. You're in that cute state of mind, though. You're gravitating towards cute, so you're on that vibration.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Darth is more vibration. Darth is more in a New York state of mind. Shout out to Billy Joel.
Ooh,
all right.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, everybody. So those are our predictions. Feel free to make your predictions in the live chat or in the comments below. Do you think I liked it? What about Muhammad? Do you think he liked it? Darth, do you think he liked it? Do you think he fell asleep? How many times in 11 minutes did he fall asleep? Katie, do you think Katie liked it? And do you think it's because she has a kitten or because of the show? All right. Make your predictions in the live chat or in the comments below. While you're doing that, take your time. Dr. Noor here is going to buy us some time by telling us all what this show is even about, because some of us kind of need it.
I keep wanting to do some sort of Billy Joel joke, but I can't think of a good one aside from just like quoting a song. Anyway, Grizz, Panda, and Ice Bear show up for a basketball match. And afterwards,
wait, I got one. You were thinking of a Billy Joel one for the longest time. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, good. Well done. I like it.
So sorry. Please continue.
I don't know. We all have a face that we hide away forever. So we take them out and show ourselves when it's gone.
This is all just going right over my head.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, Grizz, Panda, and Ice Bear show up for a basketball match and afterwards realize they lost their backpack and their most valuable possessions inside. Panic and mayhem ensue. Grizz tries to keep the bears focused as they have adventures in a taxi, in a diner, in a park with pigeons, in a library, and more. When they finally activate Phone Finder, they narrow down the backpack's location to a building and steal a backpack that looks like theirs. Unfortunately, it turns out not to be their backpack, and the police surround them. Thankfully, they end up finding their actual backpack, it having been captured by an elusive pigeon cartel. And the bears are let go. Whew.
Yeah, what a relief. Man. No sweat about the Billy Joel stuff, Katie. It's just the way that you are.
Oh, yeah,
I think that's a reference, but I'm not sure.
Yes, you got it. You got it. All right.
Been waiting on that for the longest time.
Yeah. Now Darth is thinking hard. He's like looking out. He's like, I'm going to get one by the end of this show. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I need a good one.
All right. So, where do we go from here, everybody?
Oh, this is my favorite part of the show. This is the expectation. We spent a little bit of time on what we expected from this show. I'm sorry, Darth. I'll aim for a Katie this time. And then next, what we get you as we're doing it. Sorry, Katie. Sorry, Darth.
There's a lot A lot of violence there.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you guys want to be on the show? We'll punch me out.
Yeah.
You may be right.
I'm gonna be crazy. Maybe just a lunatic you're looking for.
Katie's just now going to assume that everything
I'm just
we
gonna laugh.
say is going to
If
be.
it sounds like it came from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just going to accept it. It's just my life. That's probably my favorite one, actually. My Life.
My Life.
Hey, that's an anthem.
That was the theme song for Bosom Buddies with Tom Hanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
WTF
But not
Bosom
the Billy Joel
Buddies,
Buddies.
everybody. WTF Bosom Buddies. That'll be a great
But a
one,
cover.
especially for 80s sitcom month, which I think is September. All right. So, Dr. Noor, before you watch this first episode of We Bear Bears, or as Jennifer Durst calls it, the Wee Wee Bears,
That's great.
what did you expect, if anything?
So I was very familiar with the show because my son had watched the entire thing, and I'd seen a fair bit with him before that. So I was very familiar with it. I definitely knew who the main characters were. I knew Grizz, and Ice Bear, and Panda. I even know the subsidiary characters who haven't actually been introduced yet, like Nom Nom the koala, who's played by Patton Oswalt.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. There's a couple other recurring characters as well. So I was very familiar with this. I knew that like their personas, like, you know, how Panda's like really into his electronics, and Ice Bear is this like closet ninja and always fighter, and Grizz is kind of the almost Homer Simpson-ish kind of character.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was very familiar with this going in. Now, in terms of this particular episode, did I remember anything about that? I can't remember. What was the title of it? Our Stuff? Yeah, I don't remember anything about that. So, I mean, because again, it's been a while since I've seen this.
Interesting. Telling. What about you, Katie Nickolaou? What did you expect before watching this first episode, if anything?
See, it's interesting because I have seen a few episodes throughout the run of the show. It's an older Cartoon Network show when they got out of like their peak golden era and kind of moved towards 2010s, I think. But I kind of, going into it, I expect it to be kind of middle school Katie would appreciate. And yeah, that's about all you need to know about that.
Interesting.
Do you remember the characters and stuff too?
I know Ice Bear because I love Ice Bear. So.
Oh, interesting.
Ice
Good honesty. Good honesty.
It's a third person thing. Yeah.
Am I right, Darth? You're up next.
Oh, yeah.
And remember that I did say the word honesty, which was also a good Billy Joel song. But that's it.
Damn. Ooh, that's it. Yeah. All right.
What did you expect with this one, if anything?
I had seen a couple episodes before.
Really?
I was expecting, I'd seen a little bit. Yeah, same. My kid, he was really young, so it was kind of on random. I don't know if I'd ever seen an episode beginning to end before, but I've definitely seen bits and pieces. At least 5 times I've seen bits and pieces, 10 plus years ago. So yeah, I'm vaguely familiar. Yeah, and I'm familiar with like their comedy style, I guess. What was I? So I guess I was expecting, like a early any show, before they're kind of really getting their legs, So yeah, early cartoon pilot episode of a cartoon, I guess. But it also felt like they picked a kind of a random episode to kind of not really like an intro of these characters and everything. It's more like a kind of here's a day in the life.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting.
What I was expecting.
It's an interesting expectation. All right. I'll tell y'all what I expected. I'd never heard of this show.
Of mind.
Yeah, thank you. I'd never heard of this one. Ignorance is bliss, right? So I wish anyway. I never heard of this. I didn't know what to expect. It was called We Bear Bears, and when I first heard the title, I thought that it meant like the verb to bear, like they bear bears, like that they would make bear babies,
bears,
or that they would birth bears or something like that. but I guess it means
Cartoon
more
Network
like
or Animal Planet. Which one are you going for?
yeah, but I guess it means more like we are bears.
I mean, they're not wearing
Well,
clothes.
I mean, they
it's
aren't
like, it
wearing
definitely feels like a
clothes.
play
But then
on words.
why are they not using the verb? Why are they not putting the R in? Anyway, whatever. That's just the title. I'm sure the show was great, is what I thought. So that's what I expected and we expected. Here's the key, everybody at home. We're now about to tell you what we actually got, starting with Dr. Noor here.
Really? So, like, I remember as soon as the theme music came on, I was like, "Oh my god, I love this theme music." I've always liked this theme music. I remember whenever it come on, I always be trying to sing along with it. Like, oh, I love this thing.
It's very singable.
It's very singable, yeah. Except I can't remember the words.
Yes, I gotta hear it again now. I can't have any of it in my head at all.
No, right? Yeah.
Melody, nothing.
Overall, I liked the episode a lot. The piece I didn't like was actually the very beginning. I thought the basketball thing just went a little bit too long. Like it should have been basically that should have been cut in half. It was funny, but it went a little bit too long. But besides that, there's a lot of things I like about the show in general, and some of them were shown in this episode. So like the dialogue is subtle and witty. I mean, in that sense, there's all these little there's just these little things they say are just like, oh, that's really funny. Like, so I actually wrote down. Whenever there's a funny line, I tend to write it down, and I feel like I just wrote the script of the entire show on my piece of paper. They're not, unlike a lot of cartoons, they're not overly reliant on physical comedy. So, like as a contrast, say like Tom and Jerry or something like that. That's all physical comedy. They're like hammers. There's almost none of that. It's all like witty dialogue to it. I like the pacing. I mean, aside from the basketball game, which I thought went a little bit too long, I like the pacing. It's pretty fast moving, as you saw from my intro. I mean, there were a lot of different places, a lot of different things happen. I like that it's funny without being crass or mean, and that's generally that's true for the entire show. That it's just witty and funny, but it's not like it's not nobody's getting hurt, nobody's being just vicious or anything like that. I like the three main characters. I actually wished we'd seen more of the subsidiary ones, but I guess since it is the pilot, maybe they didn't want to put too much in there. But I like their sort of archetypes there. That Panda here is like completely obsessed with this film. Like what was the comedy said? It's my life and soul in rectangular form. That was a great line. Or Ice Bear. We didn't see quite as much of Ice Bear aside from the third person thing, but I mean he has the ninja stars, and that's obviously something that gets developed a lot more later. I love that there's some aspects that make no sense. Like they interact with people and everybody seems kind of completely unfazed by like when they're going to talk to the parking attendant or the people at the basketball game, or like nobody seems to fazed by the fact that they're bears. Just about every other character is a human being. Like okay, or how they travel in a stack. Like how do we do that? I don't know why they. Yeah, no, I don't know why they travel in a stack. I didn't anticipate the pigeon twist at the end. I didn't remember or anticipate that. Like, oh, a pigeon cartel. I just thought it was going to end, but then they just find it someplace random. But like that was an interesting twist. So overall, I came off. I mean, I'm biased because I always really enjoyed watching this show with my son. So I'm biased, predisposed, positive, but I still very much enjoyed it. Aside from those first couple of minutes where I felt like the basketball game kind of dragged a bit. That was a lot. Sorry. It's a lot to love.
Did you hear that? That's the song, right? Did you hear? You guys heard the song, right? I couldn't tell. I was playing it. No. Boy, you guys can't hear that, huh?
No. Is that the theme song, or is it?
Sounds like the person next door to you's playing it.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, this microphone kind of takes out the outside noise a little too much because I was just listening to it. Because when you mentioned, Muhammad, that you really like the song, I'm like, I don't even remember the song. So I just went and listened to it. Anyway, Katie, what did you actually get upon viewing the Wee Wee Bears?
Yes, well, I got a show that pretty much lived up to expectations for me. It definitely would have been a middle school Katie thing because it's got comedy and it's witty. It is like there's fast talking and you have to actually pay attention to it, which I found that I've liked more than just the physical crass humor that you tend to get with some Cartoon Network shows. So that was way better for me. And just I got a better sense of who the bears are because honestly all I had known were from the memes in Ice Bear, so I got to see a little bit more of them. And Yeah, I got some really good, just, fun 11-minute snippet stuff. I do agree the basketball game went on a little bit long. Kind of just like, oh no, come on, it's the first episode. You gotta pick it up. And then it did. And then it kind of just swerved into a hilariously strange direction with the pitching cartel, which I enjoy the chaos. So overall, yeah, it kind of lived up a little bit more than expectations.
Wow. Speaking of living up to more than expectations, Darth Schuhe is here, and he always lives up way more than people's expectations. Overachiever extraordinaire. What did you think of this episode?
Well, I feel kind of.
Or I should say, what did you actually get?
What did I get? A decent story. Okay, I got an issue with a plot, which makes me feel totally ridiculous. That I take issue. But how did the Bears break the case if they already had a pigeon wearing a wire, so he already knew their location? How did them stumbling into that break the case? Anyways, since they fell through the window, that was what broke the case for the cops that have been on these guys. For anyways, what did I actually get? A kind of a fun story, and I guess a fun introduction to some characters that are gonna have an interesting relationship, a lot of interesting character development as it goes along.
Interesting. Well, I'll tell y'all what I actually got. I don't know. I really, I don't know. I feel like I got nothing. As in, not that I have nothing. I'm saying I think I received nothing from that show.
Yeah.
I don't,
Didn't
I got a slight idea of who the characters were. There was, I think to my knowledge, there was one funny moment or aspect of the entire show, and that was that they travel stacked and always the same in the same order with the ice bear at the bottom.
Yep.
So I thought that was funny, and I think that kind of humor is funny because it's not explained. It's just one of those things where you're like, why are they, and they just act like it's normal, that they have to jump together, they have to travel together like stacked bears. I don't know if it's because they market and sell toys where that they're three bears, but that they can, but then they could stack together. Maybe that's the whole point. I don't know. Besides that, what I got was a show that felt like it was not even really like watching a show. I'm like, what am I even? But mercifully, it was 11 minutes. So how much can you really cram in 11 minutes? So I, can't knock it too much, but it did move quickly, which is not always easy to do, except maybe, I guess maybe the basketball thing. You're right. Didn't really notice that too much, but overall it moved fairly quickly. So that's what I got. That was the big kahuna burger there. Dr. Noor, did you have a favorite character?
Oh yeah, Ice Bear, totally. 100%. I'm with Katie on that one. Yeah. I don't know, but in this particular episode, I don't know that Ice Bear was especially noticeable in terms of his persona, but in general, Ice Bear. For this particular episode, I guess Panda sometimes I find a little bit annoying in the series, but in this episode, I thought he was fun. So if I was to say specifically for this episode, I might say Panda. So I did like the parking attendant interaction, so I might actually pick the parking attendant as a random person. I like how she was just completely unfazed by them, just like, I'm just going to drive away now.
Do you think Panda's annoying, Katie, or did you have a favorite?
Panda and Grizz are definitely not my favorites. Ice Bear is definitely my favorite, just because it goes by so quickly in this episode too. He'll just be like, Ice Bear bought these legally. And like stuff like that, you don't even register it really. But if you take the time and you pick up on it, or you've seen like TikToks of it, you're suddenly like, oh my gosh, I love him. So he actually can talk.
It actually has TikToks and memes. I've never seen a bear meme, or maybe I have and I just didn't register.
You got to get on my side of TikTok. It's weird.
Sounds scary. Darth, who is your favorite character?
I would probably have to say Ice Bear too, just because the 2 or 3 lines that he had were pretty funny. Like he was the only one that really I felt like, and any character that's like a referring to themselves in the third person, that's always kind of fun. And with such limited, just the quick little one-liners. Yeah, seemed to be the funniest so far in this episode.
Like Homie the Clown refers to himself in the third person. Homie don't play that. Yeah, Ice Bear for me too. I feel like, nice. I was trying to differentiate between the three bears. The first thing you want to do is say, okay, well, they're all three bears. So how are they different other than their looks? And their personalities kind of came through. Ice Bear was my favorite for sure. Muhammad's got his notes ready, so let's hear it.
I was looking for the Ice Bear quote. So one of them was, Ice Bear meant to do that when he threw the ball and it got stuck. Yeah, one other thing I didn't list in the list of things that were really good that struck me too is when you looked at the kids who were playing basketball, there was very high racial diversity there. It wasn't just a bunch of white kids. It's like, oh, that's actually like, it seemed like it was very well done.
Although I did one nitpick there. The fattest, whitest, shortest kid was the one that did an alley-oop reverse slam. I was like, bro,
he's the only one I remember.
That is some unbelievable jumping ability and skill to catch the ball, do a reverse. I mean, it was freaking an amazing play. And I'm like, that kid couldn't do that on
He looked like the kid from King of the Hill, didn't he?
I don't remember the most memorable is heavy set and he's all sweaty. Got all
exactly. You saw those big sweat stains. That was great. Oh, it was a good detail there with the big sweat stains. Oh yeah, actually I have some other lines in here too. Ice Bear wants justice when they went over and found the parking. Or when they got in the taxi and they were saying like, we need to go where Crook would go, and then Panda's like, why can't you go to the bathroom first? And then Ice Bear needs a latte. There's just so many. Like I feel like I just wrote the entire script. It's like every line to me was like, oh my god, I love that. Oh my god, I love that. And like they're doing the stuff with the taking the parking ticket and making it into an FBI badge. It was so ridiculous. It was hilarious.
Like somehow, that's gonna work. That idea makes sense to him.
Yeah. Or when the lady at the diner was fussing at them about like, stop wasting our table mats. Doing all those little drawings of all the things. The whole pigeon plot, like both the beginning part when like they're like, it's like they don't understand us. They're yelling at the pigeons.
Well, when Ice Bear was the one that ended up talking to them, right? That was cool. That was funny.
Do that big dance thing,
That was funny.
I thought the thing before that was even funnier. Before he did it. What's that?
The cops recruit the pigeons too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the cops
someone on the police force speaks pigeon too.
I love the quote from the cops. Jump now. We will catch you and put you in jail.
Put you in jail. That's pretty good.
I have the line you mentioned, Katie. Ice Bear bought these legally. The Pigeon Cartel is one of the most elusive of criminal gangs. It was just like, I don't know. I felt like literally like every line was really good. Like I just sat there just chuckling the whole time.
When I said what, it sounded like that line in Cool Hand Luke. What we've got here is, that's what it sounded like to me. Ice Bear, why? I've never seen Cool Hand Luke. Why, when he was wearing that hippie shirt, did the
why did it trigger the library thing
go off?
That was fun.
And why do I know a famous line from Cool Hand Luke if I've never seen the movie? I don't know.
Guns N' Roses.
Got it. This guy gets it from the song.
This guy gets it
from the song "Civil War" on "Use Your Illusion" to everybody. Boy, oh boy. Anyway, so there was no explanation to the metal. Was there metal in the hippie shirt?
Maybe.
Yeah, like tie-dye would have metal in it somehow. Yeah, or a T-shirt would have metal somehow.
Uranium.
I love the ending too. When they still had the movies. Like, do you want to watch a movie?
He ends up with the bootleg or whatever it was.
Yeah, they were still renting movies back then. When the kid said, "Hey, I just rented that," I was like, I put in my notes. I was like, "Wait, what rented? What is this from the Carter administration?"
Right in the tail end of that.
Yeah,
I got it at a Redbox.
Wasn't this 2015?
Yeah,
I mean, this wasn't that long ago. I thought so. Yeah,
so
it's not like that long
high school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, me and Darth too. Yeah.
Yeah, we just
me too.
Seniors.
Yeah, seniors, class of 215. Well, what do we used to say? 15, living the dream. I don't know.
Just like all those cool young guys say. Yeah, peace.
So, Katie, tell us what you hated about the show, or nitpicks that you may have had.
Nitpicks, definitely. Panda just seems kind of banana. Banana. Now, Panda just seemed kind of maybe like the obnoxious kid that I babysat. Just like, oh, I'm always on my phone. I'm always on this. It's like, oh, please don't show this to children because then they'll want to be that. And
Yeah, don't make that look good.
Exactly. Like that's always one of my things with kids shows is if they make bad behavior, like behavior that's kind of obnoxious, be the main character trait. It's like, no.
Don't encourage that.
They're
That's a
impressionable.
very good point.
So yeah, that's why I like Grizz. Grizz more than Panda. He's pretty good with like, oh yeah, we're gonna get this, and we're gonna take charge, we're gonna do this, like problem solving. And then Ice Bear, because if a little kid came up to me and said, "I got these legally," I would immediately want to know more. So it's like that more than Panda's personality, and also the basketball game was the big thing. Was just like, this is stupid. Come on, get to the story.
That's a very interesting point about kids emulating cartoons because you look back. How many kids tried to be Cartman from South Park when that came out, right? They were all doing that voice.
How many adults tried to be him?
How many people were trying to do the Butthead or the Beavis voice when that came out? How many people were saying, eat my shorts? Like you're right, Katie. Like when the show starts doing well, suddenly everybody wants to be Ice Bear or Cartman. And you're just like, you realize you're just talking like an idiot, right? Like, we're all kind of just talking like when you catch yourself doing that kind of stuff, you realize you're just kind of being weird.
Well, and if you watch enough kids' cartoon shows like I have, just because it does allow you to turn off your brain for a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Like it lets you just enjoy it being. If you compare this to Bluey, for example, which would you want your kids to watch more? I'm in the Bluey camp. I'm setting that up for Sophia the kitten to watch because, like,
I've never seen it, but everybody at home
watch it first.
WTF Bluey? We had some people last week already asking for Bluey. In fact, saying WTF Bluey. So maybe that's one we'll be doing soon. But is it comedic and or animated?
It's hilarious. It's animated. It's Australian, so you hear them say, "Oh, I got my thongs on," but they're actually flip flops.
Flip flops, like French. Thongs. French, they call thongs flip-flops.
So that show will make you laugh and cry. It's new. It's like COVID era new, but it's probably the best kids show I've ever seen. And I lived through Thomas with George Carlin, so
that was
high praise for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow, George Carlin had a cartoon. I'd watch.
It's amazing. Someone put like some of his comedy bits over Thomas footage, so it sounds like he's narrating it, and there's just.
That's brilliant. I love it. Everybody at home, WTF Thomas. Let us know. Do you want us to see Thomas with George Carlin, the genius? Or do you want us to see Bluey with who knows what?
The theme song is earworm for days. Every parent who's watched that show is now just like, oh no, it's back in there again.
No.
Yeah, Muhammad's like, can we just talk about wee bears, please?
I want to hug them. I want to be in this hug with them.
Bear hug.
So cute. It's a pleasing design aesthetically.
Yeah.
So is that what it was? Is that what the title means? Is that they're just naked bears, but they don't know how to say we are? But they didn't do that throughout the cartoon. Like they weren't talking in a fashion without using their verbs. You know what I mean?
I don't know how it ended up with that name.
I don't know how the name ended up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty pissed about it.
Me too. I want answers. We gotta talk to these creators. What the hell's going on?
I want answers.
I want answers.
Okay. Muhammad, did you already tell us your funniest moment?
Oh my God, picking one? That's really hard. I guess that was the Pigeon Cartel. I guess if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick that one.
Darth and Katie, do you guys have funniest moments? I know it's tough to decide from so many.
I've said it twice in the show already, so I'll say it again. I Bear bought these legally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I think same here. So or maybe I'm trying to think what was the first thing he said when he was putting the ninja stars in there. Every line about the ninja stars was funny.
Yeah.
Right then.
Darth, do you have?
Watch you end up with a bunch of kids just talking in third person because of it.
Yep.
Yeah, ninja stars. Is going to be child violence, children bringing ninja stars to school. I saw them. We were bears.
Ban it.
Yeah, be a boycott, nationwide boycott. We bears.
No ninja stars.
We're trying to bring ninja star awareness.
I'll be honest though, when Muhammad, when you first said we bears, and I said it out loud, I was thinking of like there's like a group of people in North Africa called the Bears, right? Or I think in
Berber.
America, Berber.
Yeah.
In French, they say Berbère. Like Zinedine Zidane, the French soccer player. They're Berber. He's a Berber or Berbère. Anyway, so that's what I thought of when we said the wee bears.
This was a shocker then going to this.
Yeah.
What the hell did I step into?
That would have been cool if that cultural group or ethnic group has like their own cartoon where they're going on adventures and fighting pigeons and stuff.
Oh, you would like Gullah Gullah Island then.
What?
WTF Gullah Gullah Island.
WTF Gullah Gullah Island. It's got pollywogs and binya pollywog, and it's all about like Caribbean culture. I had a lot of sick days as a kid.
I thought a pollywog was a tadpole back in the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But
and it's live action too, so figure that one out.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't. Sounds creepy. Talking tadpoles in live action. Although you can see their little mouths.
Whoa,
they're cute.
Yeah,
cute body.
All right.
Yeah.
Look, we've done enough dissecting this 11-minute episode. Katie, let's dissect your mind for a moment.
Oh, you don't want to go in there.
Oh, we do. Everybody at home, Katie here is quite the phenom. She makes videos.
Aww.
She's a meteorologist. She's famous. She wins Emmy Awards. She does viral things, viral in the digital age sense.
Yeah, not genetic modification.
Not with viruses.
Can you tell us what is the most viral video you've ever made?
Oh, that's easy. It's the one that means I can't run for president. It's my icicle poop TikTok. And the reason why I can't run for president is because if you look me up, it immediately says Meteorologist Nickolaou icicle poop. And like, it's just ruined any public image I could have on the political scene because I explained how icicles can have bird poop and a lot of other things in them. So you shouldn't eat them like a carrot. And like, I think that's up to across all platforms. It's over 24 million views. It made it onto TMZ and the Kelly Clarkson show and CBS This Morning, and it was crazy.
Wow, Kelly Clarkson.
Weird thing to blow up, huh?
Yeah, it was.
So
like all I did was I was like holding an icicle and just like, you're eating poop, and it just blew up. I was getting a million views basically every hour.
Wow. One thing I like that you did recently is on your live show, like where you're giving the meteorology report, the weather report. You actually had like a behind the scenes where we could actually follow you as you're going in there. We could actually see like, oh, she's staying in front of a green screen now, or oh no, there actually is those stuff there. But I thought that was really cool. I love
doing that.
That was really fun.
I wish if there was a way on Twitter and Instagram to do live video like that. I think Periscope at one point would have let me, but who knows if that's even real anymore. But yeah, I love going on. It's like 4:30 in the morning. So you'll get people from the Philippines. I have a huge cult following in the Philippines for no apparent reason other than they're awake and most people aren't. And so you just get people who are like, oh, you said good morning. I need to go to bed. Good night.
Shout out to the Filipino people. You guys are killing it. Do you know that in the Philippines, basketball is the most popular sport? So when you say Filipino fans, I think basketball because they are all over it. Huge Warriors fans and other fans. Shout out to the Filipino people making the world a better place. Please continue.
Cool. Oh no, I gotta when you go onto TikTok, you can see like which countries view you the most. And for me, it's like United States, Canada, Philippines.
Wow.
It's just wild. I
so per capita, it's like crazy high there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I could show up and everyone would know my name. It'd be like just insane. So yeah, but that's definitely the most popular one. Or my Animaniacs fandom forecast. When I did a forecast for all the nations of the world.
That one was a lot harder to do than holding up an icicle and talking about poop.
Yeah.
That one,
Yeah.
the per capita of effort was a very different situation. How long did that take you to memorize the entire Animaniac song where you are singing every single country of the planet?
Yep, circa 1993 or something. And then I did the amended version too. It took me about I'd say a week and a half to try to really get that one down.
Wow.
Apparently I'm really good with memorizing songs, just not faces or names. So that, and then it took like 2 or 3 weeks to get the graphics done and actually convince my bosses to let me do it. But also, it's funny, it's because I still get comments on that video because I mentioned like some Middle Eastern countries that don't like each other, and so I started like a mini race war in the comments, and so I'm just like, Animaniacs, it's fine.
But they still exist. You weren't like picking sides, you were just naming them.
I named all of them, and they all got mad because I named some other ones too. And then the Welsh.
Enemies.
People from Wales were livid because they weren't included in the original song or the amended version.
But because they are now part of the UK, right? So why? So would they be? Well, okay. Did you mention Scotland?
I did.
Okay, then you have to mention Wales. That's the rule.
And Ireland and England and all of them.
Northern Ireland and Ireland, yeah. Okay.
So apologies for the Welsh.
Yeah. Shout out to the Welsh. We love you.
Yes.
Look,
thank you for giving us Michael Sheen. Yes.
Can you tell everybody where they can find all of those crazy goodies you just mentioned?
Absolutely. Well, if you want the chaos in fullest extent, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, and Mastodon, all at weather_Katie, because no one else gets that username. And then I'm also on YouTube at So Many Random Fandoms, where you can find all my longer form forecast videos.
No LinkedIn though.
No, I do have LinkedIn if you really want to. It's like walking out of a convenience store and then going into a desert. Like, I'm not active on that at all. Everything else is on in the other apps.
Yeah, and before we move on, Darth, can you tell everybody where they can find you singing a song of 8 countries?
Well, it's only 2 countries, but it's in my local church. I've been people that know me know I've been pretty active there for at least 10 years. But we're working on something. It's well, anyways, I'm not really supposed to talk about it. It's a kind of a very private church. But
it's Scientology.
But I'd say you can look for it, but they're not allowed any photos in the church either, so you won't find anything online.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
It's a great song. All right, Mom, it's like, I've got the karate chop ready. We got to get out of here. It is time for the terrible twos.
Bottom line.
Yeah,
sorry, I scratched myself earlier on in the podcast. I've been bleeding from my arm over here. I was like,
I'm glad I'm not the only one who just like bleeds through podcasts, though.
Yeah.
I remember one time. It might have been one of the first times I was podcasting with you, Ryan. My entire foot just started bleeding. I'm just like, no, I'm having too much fun. We're just gonna have fun.
Do you just bleed when you have? Some people might have some kind of response where they get like a bloody nose or a slice on their arm when they're really having fun. Maybe that's a thing.
I hope it's not.
You got a slice on my arm.
Yeah, darn it. I need to calm down.
I did get a bloody nose on air once. It was crazy because when I get a bloody nose, if I like breathe the wrong way, it'll start to come out of my tear ducts. And so I'm like crying blood. And so I had to like take myself off a screen and I just ran and grabbed we have these emergency supply kits. So I just grabbed a tampon and shoved it up there. I was like, okay, I can talk for the rest of the show now.
In your eye. That's amazing.
Great. Tampon in the eyeball. Wow. Yeah.
More in the nostril, but it still works. Have you ever seen She's the Man? It's literally the best Disney advice I ever got was to use tampons for any kind of bleeding because it gets it all up.
It's almost
they use them in the military.
That's what they're for. Yeah. All right. We've learned something today, everybody, whether you like it or not. Here we go. The Wee Wee Bears. Final 2 questions about the Wee Wee Bears. Final 2 questions of the show. Here they come, fast and furious. Question number 1 is, on a scale of 1 to 10, Dr. Muhammad Noor, what would you give the first episode of the Wee Wee Bears entitled Our Stuff?
I mean, they say we'll be there in the theme song, and I'll be there for it. So I really enjoyed this. I wrote down in my notes, and I know some people are gonna be like, "What the heck?" I wrote down 8.8, and honestly, it would have been higher if it wasn't for the basketball thing. But I really enjoyed it.
Rude.
So I mean, actually, they still could have basketball, just shorter.
You're really pissing off our Filipino fans right now, Dr. Noor. They love basketball, and I love basketball. I'm with you guys.
Good. It's good. I just wanted less of that game where it was just kind of going on and on.
We want more pigeons.
More pigeons.
All right. Katie, what about you on a scale of 1 to 10?
I have set mine at a 7.5. The basketball game did go on a little long, and it wasn't quite as witty as some of the shows that I prefer, but it was still enjoyable. So, 7.5.
Wow. Darth, your thoughts? Are you going to go higher than an 8.8? You going to go lower? Where are you?
Yeah. God, it's tough because it's like one of these things I really want to like it, and it's very charming. But at the same time, and I like, it's not mean-spirited, and there's not like potty humor and stuff. It's like classy, and it's just, the humor just is just, and I feel like maybe it's just me, like it just doesn't, and you know me, I like a wide variety of different kinds of comedy,
True.
But it just feels like it's not quite there. Like I feel like these jokes aren't for me or something, But I really wanted to like it, and I like the premise and the execution of it. I like the story was great. I like having all the guys, all their stuff is in one backpack, To be generous, I'm gonna go 6. I'll give it a 6. It's a very generous 6.
What a sweetie.
Whatever you feel. It's all good.
Yeah. Because if there's one rule to this podcast is that we have to be generous and grade things higher than they deserve, which is why I'm giving it a 3.
Ooh.
There it is.
Wow.
Oh man.
That's a lukewarm.
Ryan, feeling generous.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I thought of that when I watched it last night. I was like, okay, well, for some reason, I feel bad giving it a 2 or a 1.5. So I'll give it a 3 because it moved quickly. It ended quickly. There was nothing to hate. There was nothing obnoxious or bad about it in any way. I liked that they travel stacked. I thought that was funny and clever. And I like that they didn't explain it. And I hope that they don't. I hope it's just some weird, stupid thing that, because sometimes some of the most clever cartoons, they have these running gags forever where there's just this thing that makes no sense. And the people watching it for the first time are going like, why are they doing this? But the people have seen it a long time. They're like, oh yeah, you noticed that, huh? They'll explain it later. You keep watching. So that kind of humor is great. Sorry, I meant that kind of humor. And if there were any other humor in the show, I would mention that here. But that's all I got for now. So, 3. However,
big range.
This
might be one of the biggest ranges we've had.
That's why I was so happy with your 8 point. Well, the biggest range, everybody, was when we reviewed He-Man with our good friend and fallen comrade Darnell Davis. This was WTF number 34. Myself, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, and Darnell Davis reviewed the very first episode of He-Man. What was it called?
The He-Man.
Diamond Ray. Right. That one had quite a range. You can guess what part of that range I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, very first one.
That's the original He-Man, no?
Yep, very first OG where Skeletor goes, He-Man! Anyway, look, question number 2, for the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the Wee Wee Bears. I'm never going to stop calling it that. But now that the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet, Dr. Muhammad Noor, would you of your own volition watch the second episode of the Wee Wee Bears?
Oh, heck yeah. I even started to already. I was like, oh my God, I want to see more of this. Wow. I love this show.
Okay. What about you, Katie? Wee bears? Actually, if this was French, that would be the yes bears. Is it a yes or no for you?
It is a maybe, because hear me out. If I'm just flipping through channels, there are other shows that I'd end up watching. But if I was homesick and this was on the queue and it was like this, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy stuff, I'd watch We Bare Bears. So tentative yes, if there's nothing else on. I wouldn't have any problem watching.
She's raving about it, everybody. What do you say, Darth? Tentative yes?
Bears.
Above Wheel of Fortune.
Bears.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would, if it was on, I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, but like if I happened upon an episode, I'd say, yeah, let's see what's going on. Let me watch a couple minutes of this. See if this story grabs me or if the comedy's getting to me. It's a very strong maybe, I guess you would say.
Judges, Dr. Noor, is this him saying yes, he would watch it of his own volition in the second episode?
I'm not positive. I mean, with Katie's, I felt like it was yes. With Darth, I'm not as positive. I'm biased because I already was a yes. I want everybody to say yes. Yeah. I'm biased too.
But would Ryan watch it again?
Well,
that I think we know the answer to.
So, Darth, just for clarification, would you, of your own volition, watch the second episode?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
As long as it's 11 minutes, you know.
Yeah, it's not a big time commitment.
As long as it's 11 minutes. Actually, that's what Muhammad told me. He's like, it's only 11 minutes. I was like, I'm listening.
Yeah, cool.
Actually, the next episode has Nom Nom.
Oh, wow.
With Patton Oswalt. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a selling factor.
All right. So it's a clean sweep. Everybody says yes, they would watch the second episode up until my turn where I say no. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, not fair.
And then I say no. Darth is acting like he's surprised by this. I don't know. Because he's only known me since the Abraham Lincoln administration. Our school team name, we called ourselves the Abraham Lincolns. Anyway. So yeah, it's that's pretty good.
Well, Katie and I were there when they composed the Star Spangled Banner too, right?
Oh man, such a great
that was really
time.
Exciting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Francis Scott Key, man, he had
third draft.
Got those cannons right next to it. Like,
perfect. Bursting.
Him and Billy Joel.
Yeah.
Right.
Only the good die young.
So weird. Very good. Oh, way to sneak that in right into the conversation, Darth. Great job.
Well done.
Finally.
Anyway, everybody at home, look, no offense. The wee bears, I'm sure, are great, but I call them the no bears now, not the wee, the normal bears. You know how to say bear in French? Ours.
Ours.
It's like the constellation, Ursa Major and stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think in Spanish it's oso, O-S-O, something like that. Anyway, look, time to move on, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like us to review a show, in the comments below, just tell us the show and where we can find it, and we will review it. Maybe. Please give this video a like. Make sure you are subscribed. Give us a 5-star rating if you're listening in. We really appreciate y'all, especially Team Philippines. Shout out to the Philippines.
Yeah.
All right. What are we doing here? Oh, Muhammad, that's what I'm doing here. What I'm trying to say is
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, what I'm really trying hard to say is this podcast was bare.
This podcast was a wink and a smile and a great old time.
This podcast was a very good time.
Ew. This podcast was very bearable.
Well done, you guys.
Wow.
My brain panicked and that's all I had left.
This is good eating. All right. Thanks, everybody. This is a lot of fun. And please remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg likes to say.
Says, come on, Virginia. It's not. No, sorry. Come back. He says, don't forget to be an organ donor.
Start the fire.
And don't forget to watch the first of things.
All right. Freeze frame like Billy Joel singing your favorite song.
That shitty smile and pretend that